LLC.
To be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave their right to me, and I gladly stand.
It's time to join Huck and Dave for 1 hour of educational news and conversation. They will discuss the current events that you are not going to hear on the mainstream media. The left wants to silence our free speech and take away our liberties. Huck and Dave want to open up the lines of communication and allow you, our listeners, to speak about what America wants. Call Huck and Dave for open discussions at 504-556-9696. Or you can reach them at libertyorlockdown.live. Now, let's go live and direct to Huck and Dave for Liberty or Lockdown.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm at the bottom of the canyon right now.
I was wondering where you were that day. So we have Dr. Robert Little in the studio with us. Say hi, Dr. Robert Little.
Hi to all. Good to see you.
And we have our legislative liaison, Susie Labry.
Well, hello there. I'm here in person now.
Woohoo!
We were supposed to have Dr. Peter McCullough, but he's actually up in the air on a plane and couldn't get, at a place to call us. So we'll reschedule for that. We have a lot of news. A lot's going on. The Trump indictments, a lot going on there. And I know Dr. Little had sent me a clipping about this gentleman by the name of James Lindsay. And there's a strategy behind the Trump indictments. So we'll be talking a little bit about Marxism. And anything you have, Dave, to bring to
Well, one of the things relating to Mr. Trump, I saw a really great idea from a guy named Dan Bongino. I haven't heard him before, but I think he's a blogger. He said, here's what Mr. Trump should do. He should show up at the courthouse and they charge him. And I don't know if they're actually going to arrest him, but don't post bail. Let them put you in jail. Okay, the Secret Service is responsible to protect former presidents for the rest of their life. They're going to have to declare the whole jail a protected area and clear out all those criminals. Oh, that would be a great strategy, wouldn't it?
You think that's what they would do?
I don't know.
They're supposed to be fingerprinting him and doing a mugshot this time.
Yeah.
How do you think that's going to go over?
The more people pick on him, the more people recognize this is just election interference. I think he's right. It's going to boost his chances over and over. I understand why he didn't bother to show up at the Republican debate. He doesn't need to. He's so far ahead of everybody else.
He's absolutely so far ahead of everybody. And what's I draw a blank right now. The lady who's running against her. Come on, the woman, the Republican woman.
Running against whom?
Presidential candidate.
Oh, the lady? I don't know who the lady is yet.
Jindal's cousin.
I don't know.
I don't know Jindal's cousin.
I don't know how to say the name.
Okay, I'm drawing a blank. She worked for the United Nations, right?
Okay.
And she really gave herself away about some things when she was talking about it. Almost was like, wow, I think you would have been better off not saying what you just said, because now we really know what side you're on.
What did she say?
She exposed herself, and in the regards of being more of a globalist and of a rhino, and you could just see it in her answering. And we're going to get that clipping and we're going to play it for y'all. But in the meantime, our producer is going to play this clipping from James Lindsay. We're going to let y'all. If you have any callers calling in, that's, what is it? 504-556-9696. You have that clipping yet? Not yet. It's coming up.
Well, while he's bringing that up, can I point out it's hot outside? Did you know that? Yes, it is. But people say, oh, it's because we got all these gas cars. No, there was an interesting study published by Yale University, and they are as liberal as they come. And Yale said, here's another factor in this. There was a volcanic eruption under the Pacific Ocean last year, and it boiled millions of tons of water. And that's up in the atmosphere. Water vapor is a much stronger greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide. And then in addition, this is one of the El Nino years, which is going to increase the temperature. And in addition to that, the sun goes through an 11-year cycle from colder to hotter. All of those things are going on at the same time. So, guys, it ain't the cars.
Yes, in fact, the solar cycle is at its highest peak in the cycle right now.
Yep.
And it is the number of sunspots is about 5 times the normal level of sunspots that are there. And sunspots are the most significant element in the temperature of the Earth. The more sunspots there are, the warmer it gets. The less sunspots there are, the less warm it is.
Yeah. So it's hot, but it's not just the gas cars.
All right, I remembered her name, Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley, a rhino. All right, we're going to play that clipping. We got to get these Marxists out of here.
Special guest is James Lindsay. He is the founder of New Discourses and author of The Marxification of Education. James, so good to have you back on American Thought Leaders.
Hey, Jan, glad to be here.
So, James, you had a very, very interesting response to this recent Trump indictment. In fact, the spate of them as they've come out. So I want to get you to tell me what you're seeing.
Well, the thing is that I actually see a lot of things at once, and that's a little complicated. So I'll kind of try to unpack it for you. What I see is, first of all, that the people that we're dealing with here, the enemy, the regime, whatever it is that we're actually dealing with, operates through what's called political warfare. Some people have heard of the term fifth generational warfare. So they have strategic operations that they are pulling on the population in order to try to advance agendas. It's not just that they're doing what they're doing. There's a purpose for what they're doing. And in this case, what I'm seeing is, yeah, they're doing a number of things. They're trying to indict Trump, and maybe they're trying to get him to go to jail. Maybe they're trying to disqualify him as a candidate. They're obviously trying to run a distraction program, because we see that these indictments happen to come out every time, as Trump would call them, the Biden crime family gets, exposed for something nefarious. The next day, or within 2 days or so, we see an indictment of Trump, or a spate of indictments of Trump and other people in his orbit, all related to kind of January 6th kind of stuff. And so there's clearly a number of things happening. They're trying to make Trump messy. They're trying to maybe get him in trouble or disqualify him. And they are trying to do a distraction operation to distract from, things that are happening that people should be paying attention to on the Biden side of things. I think there's actually more going on than that, too. I think they're trying to provoke the American people into reacting to thinking that we've lost our nation already. We've lost a nation of laws, that the law is political. And I've given kind of some cute names to these different facets of this. The distraction part's obvious enough. The indictment part's obvious enough. But making Trump messy, I actually gave it a name, Operation Make Trump Messy. It's easy to remember. They want to make people not want to vote for Trump because he's just too burdened with messy stuff. There's too much legal trouble. It's going to be a circus again. I don't want to deal with it. I'm just not going to vote for him. So chase people away from supporting him while cornering him into the nomination. And then secondly, there's the other one that I'm calling Operation Poke the Bear. Is a more subtle and difficult to explain act of political warfare, but the idea is to try to provoke the American public into giving up on the rule of law.
Well, so why don't we actually go through these very quickly? Because you see, I think I counted at least four things going on, with this poke the bear being, I think, the kind of most important that we want to target on. But at the beginning, you kind of described this as a Darvo move, this distraction. And I've never seen it used in this context. Can you explain that to me?
Yeah, so Darvo is a tactic that's been named in the psychology of narcissistic abuse. It's an acronym. It stands for Deny, Attack, and Reverse the Roles of Victim and Offender. So DARVO.
Hear what the Darvo is. We're not going to play the whole clipping, and we'll be right back. This is Liberty or Lockdown.
The fucking time will stop. Children, watch that sound. Everybody, look what's going down. There's battle lines being drawn. Nobody's right if everybody's wrong. Young people speaking their mind.
Now is your chance to get rid of those old pants for good. WGSO supports the New Orleans homeless community through Grace at the Green Light. Grace needs to restock its free clothing closet for the unsheltered with new or gently used menswear. Donations accepted Tuesday and Saturday mornings, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. at 1526 Aretha Castle Haley Boulevard, or anytime at donate.graceatthegreenlight.org.
Hey, Mimi, we're moving.
Moving to Wednesdays at 5.
You can check out He Said, She Said on a new day.
Hump Day.
A new day, but we'll still be discussing and debating the hot topics.
And take your phone call.
You can listen to us on 990 AM WGSO, WGSO.com.
And find out who's right. Of course, that's me.
No, of course, that's me. I've been doing this 23 years, Mimi.
Practice makes perfect.
So you see, we'll have plenty to talk about on He Said, She Said.
Wednesdays at 5.
Right here on WGSO.
New Orleans, are you ready to have a conversation? Well, if you are, Ron Richardson is here to tell you that you should tune into my show, Conversations with Ron Richardson, every Saturday morning from 11 a.m. until 12 noon here on WGSO 990 AM and WGSO.com, where we discuss mental health, disability, and everyday life. Tune in to Conversations with Ron Richardson every Saturday morning from 11 a.m. until 12 noon here on WGSO 990 AM and WGSO.com.
Got your license to grill? Call Chew on This Saturdays at noon on WGSO and tell us all about it. Don Clement and Patty B are waiting to hear your cooking secrets.
More and more Americans are listening on American ground. Listen each Saturday from noon to 1 p.m. with Louis R. Avalone and Stephen Parr.
Join me, Mitch Gibbs, every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. for our 8th season of Breakfast with the Bayou Bengals, live from the Silver Slipper Casino in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi.
Hello, Patriots. My name is Connie, and I am a fellow Louisianian. I started an online store in 2019 exclusively selling products which are made in the USA. My site is AmericanCentralStore.com. That's AmericanCentralStore.com. The reason for this ad is that I need products. I am trying to find drop shipping merchants with Louisiana-made products that can ship directly to the customer. If you are a Louisiana merchant who makes quality products, and if you can drop ship your products directly to the customer, I would love to hear from you. The only products I cannot carry right now are clothing items, but will carry those in the future. Please visit my site at AmericanCentralStore.com. Click the Contact Us link for the phone number and email address. Thank you, Patriots. Be American, buy American.
We're going to finish that little clipping real quick, and then we're going to let Dr. Little chime in on
So the idea with Darvo is that every time this would be where they are trying to distract from the scandals coming out around the Biden family. Every time that something comes out, they deny that it happened. They attack the person making the accusation, and then they try to reverse the roles of victim and offender so that they're the poor victim, but somebody else is the offender. So in this case, what they're trying to do is every time there's a scandal that comes out around the Biden family, they turn around and they deny that it happened, attack Trump, and try to make it out that Trump is some kind of actual criminal offender, and they, of course, are not. And so this is a classic technique. Anybody who's dealt with kind of woke people dealing with school boards or whatever else, or the schools with their children, has probably experienced it. We're not the ones that are engaged in white supremacy. You're holding up white supremacy, or, we're not the ones failing the kids. You're failing the kids. And they frequently do this to turn the tables on people who are accusing them, or obviously in many cases catching them in nefarious behaviors.
So tell me about each of these operations in a little more detail. And you also referenced rules for radicals, Saul Lindsay, and also the modern.
Dr. Little.
Yes. Okay. I particularly wanted to mention that Darvo tactic. The Darvo tactic is originally mentioned in the context of a narcissistic behavior pattern. And this is a psychological pattern used by narcissists to beat down their victims. They beat them down psychologically. And the main mode that they use deny, attack, and reverse. They deny that they are responsible for the problem, whereas they actually have initiated the problem. But they deny it. Then they attack the victim. They say, "You're the problem. I'm not the problem." And finally, they reverse the roles of the victim and the offender. And the narcissist will say, "I'm the victim. You're the offender. You're responsible for my problems." And one key aspect of that, I think that's very important when it comes to Marxist activity. They do the same thing, deny, attack, and reverse. Well, in particular, with the reversal aspect, we need to stop them and say, "Wait a minute, let's point out what you're doing. You are blaming us for your activity. Now let's go ahead and identify how you do what you blame us for doing. And then go ahead and specify the particular ways that they actually are doing what they blame us for." Now, what they want us to do is to get on the defensive and justify ourselves and say, "Well, I'm not doing that. I don't do that kind of thing." Instead of doing that kind of defensive response, we need to say, "Stop it." What we need to do is to look at you, look at what you're doing. Now, this is what you're responsible for. This is how you're doing what you blame me for. Now, I like President Reagan's way of introducing this with the press. When the press would do this with him, President Reagan would say, "Now, there you go again." And then he would identify their tactic. He would identify how they were doing what they were blaming him for. So I think we need to reverse it and turn it around back on them and say, "Let's look at you. Let's look at what you're doing. It's not about us. It's about you."
Right. Well, I had someone who just messaged me and said that a mother was arrested for using her voice in a situation where she was fighting for the rights of her children that had been incarcerated because the judges had weaponized the judicial system against her and took her kids from her. And this mom has now been arrested because her voice was too much for them, I guess. And so what do you do then? I mean, the system is so corrupt that they're going for the president, the former president of the United States of America, to possibly arrest him, and they're now arresting innocent mothers who are trying their hardest to defend their children, and the children are being taken from them right here in Louisiana and throughout the United States by corrupt judges. And so this tactic, deny, attack, reverse the victim of offender, is exactly what they're doing. But what do we do? How do we, they want us to be silent. I think that we remain speaking.
Yes, I think so. The one thing, again, that Mr. Lindsay brought out here is that it depends on who's listening. And if there's no listener, this doesn't stick. This is being played for the third party. We are the third party. We are the listeners, and we need to speak up. Our silence allows them to continue. If we cave in and we are intimidated by their tactics, then they accomplish what they want. But if we speak up and say, "No, let's identify what they're doing, turn the focus back on them, and begin to speak up about how they are the perpetrators and we are the victims, not the other way around." But it is our voice that makes the difference. When we're silent, nothing happens to our benefit. They take over. But if we speak up, then we can turn the focus back on them.
Dave, any comments?
Nope.
Susie?
Yes, I'm familiar with that situation. I've been in situations like that many times, and now the only difference I'm learning how to define what it is. It explains a lot.
Well, from a biblical perspective, in the Bible, it talks about people that dig a pit are going to fall into the pit.
Yes.
So that's what I pray about Mr. Trump. I don't think he's perfect, but I don't think he's committed crimes. And so I pray the people accusing him fall into the pit they're digging for him.
Amen to
Yes.
that, Dave.
And there's another corollary to that, is that he who starts a rock rolling, the rock will roll back on him who starts it.
Amen to that, Dr. Ray.
Boomerang.
That's a rock and roll joke. Huh?
Right, yes, right.
Well, I do believe that they are trying to cause us to get so angry that we become volatile with them. And they are trying to cause us to go out and fight. And what you're saying is that we need to remain calm and pray and be peaceable and don't fall for what they're doing.
And read Esther in the Bible about Haman.
Yeah.
Yes. And the key with Esther, timing was so important. And we have to choose the right time to speak. Esther chose carefully when she spoke to the king about this. And she actually set up Haman with a special party honoring Haman. But she didn't say a thing until it was just the right moment.
She strategized.
Yes.
So y'all go home, or if you're at home, read the book of Esther.
Yes.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
Yes.
All right, Dave, where are we going from here?
Well,
Dr.
I don't
Little,
know.
anything else?
I've got other things, but
Any last words, Dr. Little?
Well, I think just to summarize the point that Mr. Lindsay is making, in summary, don't allow them to put us on the defensive. That's how they advance the case. I want to give you an example from Mardi Gras about how that works. When I was at parades, there would be 10 people deep, but I wanted to get to the front of the parade. I would just wait until people would jostle, and then I'd work my way between them to get to the front of the line. But anyway, they want us to jostle so they can get to the front. We need to stop them by not getting defensive and instead identifying their tactic.
We'll be right back. This is Liberty on Lockdown.
Taste of Tokyo, 10160 Jefferson Highway, River Ridge, Louisiana. Among other Japanese cuisine places to visit, this restaurant can be one of the best. Good salmon, broth, and sushi will impress you at the first bite. Taste tasty cheesecake and good ice cream to form your opinion about Taste of Tokyo. Visit this place and order delicious wine. If you enjoy great tea, you'll love Taste of Tokyo. The cozy atmosphere makes guests feel relaxed, and everyone seems to be having a good time. According to Google review, pricing is excellent, and the staff is considered attentive and patient. I suggest trying the beef tataki, pepper tuna sashimi, playboy roll in soy paper, and the sunshine roll. It tastes and feels like you're in Hawaii. Enjoy Taste of Tokyo on Jefferson Highway.
Hello, Patriots. My name is Connie, and I am a fellow Louisianian. I started an online store in 2019 exclusively selling products which are made in the USA. My site is AmericanCentralStore.com. That's AmericanCentralStore.com. The reason for this ad is that I need products. I am trying to find drop shipping merchants with Louisiana-made products that can ship directly to the customer. If you are a Louisiana merchant who makes quality products, and if you can drop ship your products directly to the customer, I would love to hear from you. The only products I cannot carry right now are clothing items, but will carry those in the future. Please visit my site at AmericanCentralStore.com. Click the Contact Us link for the phone number and email address. Thank you, Patriots. Be American, buy American.
Louisiana Radio Network News, I'm Pearson Lussey. The Beauregard Parish Sheriff's Department reports that the Tiger Island fire, which has destroyed more than 13,000 acres in southwest Louisiana, is now 85% contained. Sheriff's Office spokesperson Shannon Burgess says the fire crossed over Highway 27 last night.
It was incredible, the efforts between the state forestry, our local firefighters, and local law enforcement combined together. Got that under control, went door to door, and got people out before anything could happen.
Burgess says highways 27 and 110 have reopened. The wildfires across the state have produced some smoky air. Because of the Tiger Island fire, southwest Louisiana is impacted the most. Department of Environmental Quality spokesperson Greg Langley says these conditions could last for a while.
You know, that's entirely dependent on the weather, as you pointed out, and we're all wanting to see some rain. But we'll just have to wait it out. It could extend for some time.
For today, the air index quality is moderate for what is known as particle matter released by smoke, LRN.
Medicaid members, keep your address and phone number up to date to make sure you receive important information about your health insurance and you don't risk losing your coverage. If you get a letter from Louisiana Medicaid, follow the directions and respond to it as soon as possible. For questions or to update your info, call the number on your insurance card or visit healthy.la.gov. That's healthy.la.gov. Remember, keep your contact information up to date and respond to Medicaid letters so you don't lose your health care coverage.
Have you lost Louisiana Medicaid? At healthcare.gov, you can find a low-cost, quality health plan.
Do plans cover doctor visits?
What about emergency care?
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hi, this is Kevin Carr, host of Fat Guys at the Movies. Listen every Sunday at 8 p.m. on WGSO 990 AM, the community voice of the Crescent City. Does your business need to boost sales or drive customer loyalty? Talk to Sir Speedy. Our direct mail pros can get your company in front of the right people with our comprehensive direct mail and mailing services. All you have to do is share your goals with us, and we can do the rest. Get the ball rolling and send your next direct mail project to us. Call Sir Speedy at 504-586-9812 or visit us online at SirSpeedyNewOrleans.com. That's 504-586-9812. We do it.
You might be afraid to speak out for fear of cancel culture or losing your job. Christian Garrick Show on WGSO is your platform. Noon to 2, weekdays, right here on 990 AM WGSO.
Chicken. Some of them old bars down in the Louisiana legislature are willing to let teachers teach our kids that all white people are inherently racist. And that Louisiana is a racist state and that America is a racist country. Them old bars are too chicken to stand up for America. They ought to be put out on the chicken farm.
WGSO 990 AM is the only locally owned and operated talk station in New Orleans. We feature 20 local hosts discussing a variety of topics. In an era when the daily newspaper is being discontinued and our competitors are out-of-state media conglomerates, we ask you, our listeners, to support local programming on a local station. To advertise or sponsor one of our great shows, contact me at jeff@wgso.com or call 504-669-6076.
Everything Old is New Again is changing time from 1 o'clock on Saturdays to 9 a.m.
Good times never seem so good.
I'm believing in Trump. I know the gentleman before us on the show before us is saying that maybe he needs to step back and let somebody else, say, well, there's lots of candidates out there, but the voters are the ones who vote them in, right?
You know, an elected official needs a chance to finish his job. You can't do the whole job in 4 years. Sometimes it might take 8 years, sometimes 12 years.
That's correct. So I'm pulling for Trump, and we'll see what, the voters have to say. It's the voters. And once we get back to that election poll, we'll see, whether or not the election integrity is there. Are they going to pull another fast one? Are we going to see what they did in 2022 happen again, or in 2020 happen again. I don't know. So, all right. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about COVID in a minute, but right now I would love for our legislative liaison to give us an update. Susie Labry.
Well, right now the legislature is not in session, but I will tell you, and I'm going to point out and preach, this is the time to speak to your legislators. You want it, they have full access because it's campaign time. Talk to the candidates, the Senate, the House, and the candidates that are running for these seats. This is the time to reach your legislature, not during session. You have all ears and access. And this is one thing I want to point out. Get to know your legislator now, today, while it's campaign season. You have open access. Get to them, and they're going to be after you. They're going to want to talk to you. They're coming on to me like flies on a garbage can.
That's right.
That's a great analogy.
Thank you.
That's true. That's very true, Susie. It is the time to get to speak to your legislators. And for all of you people out there, who would like to talk to them about some of the bills, maybe you can create your own bill. Get with Louisiana conservatives and, try and get some of these new bills passed. We're working on some school choice bills with Dr. John Merrifield and our team. And so we'll be talking to some of the legislators about that because we're going to reintroduce that bill.
And I want to say, my program for this year is to repeat the same thing we've been doing the last 2 years because we're going to have a different set of players. We're not going to have a veto session. I forget what I want. That's why I have some key legislative races that we need to work on. Like for the House, you have some rhinos like around here. You have Joe Stagney here, and we need to get him out.
Yeah.
And I'm very sorry to see what happened to Amanda Evans. Everybody who talks to me is very disgusted with that. So she's disqualified because she, quote unquote, failed to file her income tax returns while working at a snowball stand as a junior in high school. She got disqualified, so Mike Segura was the other candidate, so everybody's going to be getting behind him, Mike Segura. And he's running against SSIGUR, Joe Stagney, in the Kenner area. Other legislators around this area, races, is Charles Marcellus running against Stephanie Hilferty. Remember Stephanie Hilferty, state representative that called Ray Garofalo a racist by saying, using a quote, good, bad, and ugly. But Charles Marcellus is very experienced. He's been a mayor and he served in government many times. He's in the New Orleans, Jefferson area, and he's in District 94. He's running against Stephanie. And then around the state, we have Jenny Seals, who's running against Barbara Freiberg, who is the rhino. And there's some other races like Tammy Fab that's running against Jerry Lacone, who's a rhino up in around the Point Coupé parish area. The key Senate races are Ray Garofalo. He's running an open seat that is vacated by Sharon Hewitt, and Rob Owens is running against him. And Rob Owens is the one that's been absent at committee meetings and all. And Ray's been standing for his constituents well. And the one around here I'm fixing to go meet is Tim Kerner. That's the son of Representative Kerner, who's an excellent state representative. This is Tim Kerner Jr., and he's running against Patrick Connick in District 8 over the river. That's Jefferson Parish over the river from Orleans, all the way down to Grand Isle. And there are other senators running that I'm interested in. Barry Hodges that's going to be a tough race up there in Livingston Parish, Denham Springs area, and Watson. We all need to rally behind our hero, Barry Hodges, against Buddy Mincy, who is, we consider a runner and not doing well in the educational world and so forth. So we want to rally behind Barry Hodges, who stands for history and Israel in the classroom, cleanliness in the classroom, and so forth. These are the main races that I want to focus on. Also pray for Dodie Horton way up in Louisiana from Horton. And I hear the governor's got a man playing it up there named Chris Turner. This is not Representative Turner. This is another Chris Turner who's running around accusing her of false falsely accusing her of not supporting the teachers and the water and the bridge and so forth.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I was told that Senator Connick voted for 648, which was the mutilation of children. So Susie's going to look that up for me to make sure or not, because if he voted for 648, then you have to vote for Tim Kerner Jr. because that's just unacceptable. We're not voting to mutilate the genitals of our children. We are fighting to protect our children. This is insane where we are today. And if not, I mean, I know that there's some bills out there. I think that Tim Kerner Jr. sounds like a fresh, just a fresh candidate and someone who's going to fight to defend the children. I've spoken with him a little bit yesterday, and I have a few people that are telling me he's a good candidate. So you're also welcome to go out to his meet and greet today. That's Tim Kerner Jr. for Senate District 8 campaign kickoff party is today, Thursday, August 24th at 6 to 9 p.m. at the American Legion Hall, 4101 Patriot Street in Marrero. That's 4101 Patriot Street in Marrero from 6 to 9. Entertainment by Aaron Forrest Band. Come out and meet the people's candidate. All right? We'll figure that one out about Mr. Connick, and if it's not so,
Senator Connick did vote for the motion by Senator Morris to override that veto. But now we need to see the other votes. So let me look at the other votes here.
Okay. So while she's looking that up, Dave.
Well, when we get back to the COVID stuff, fortunately, we have a doctor in the studio with us today, Dr. Little. But I was just looking online, and Martha found the same thing, that Mr. Biden is going to begin to push for more COVID boosters. Yeah, they worked so well the last time, right? COVID is a virus, and it's mutating. And so what was good for it, well, if it was good for it a couple of years ago, it may not be good for it now. And so we hear that there are more cases of COVID, or there are an increasing number of cases of COVID. Well, if you think about the Black Plague and the Black Death, those things kind of burn themselves out because the most susceptible people died and the virus didn't pass on. Sadly, I think the most susceptible people to COVID, they died. And so the strain that's around there is not as serious as it was back then. So I am not going to get another booster.
No, you're not going to get another booster. You're not going to get another shot. Another vaccine from the COVID vaccines. We know they're very deadly. And if you're hearing from the coroners, they're finding those long spike proteins when they're embalming the
autopsy.
Yeah, the autopsies. Thank you so much. Okay, so I stand corrected. Patrick Connick did not vote, or he voted what? What was his vote?
He did vote for that bill. He voted for that bill, and he voted to override that bill. It's a lot of other pieces of legislation. It would take a while to compile a list, but you want a list of votes of all the bills, you could contact us, and I could send this to you, or text, or whatever, how, or
give them your email.
And my email is lasunshine@yahoo.com. And you can ask me to get a vote breakdown on what bills, and I can send you my full legislative report, and also can get this posted on Martha's on this page. Can I, Martha?
Yeah, so we're going to get more on the those two candidates, Patrick Connick, and see exactly what it is, how he's been voting, and we'll be right back. This is Liberty or Lock.
Made in America. He loves his wife, she's that wife that decorates on the 4th of July, but says every day's Independence Day. She's golden rule, teaches school. Some folks say it isn't cool, but she said the Pledge of Allegiance anyway. He's got the red, white, blue flying high on the farm. 7 potato on his left arm.
Some people in the Louisiana legislature want to permit the teaching of critical race theory in our state. That theory says that if two babies are born today, one black baby and one white baby, that the white baby is the mean racist oppressor of the black baby, and that the black baby is the weak, incompetent victim of the white baby. Unbelievable. Those people say that the innocent white baby by its DNA is bad and racist, and the black baby by his DNA is a weak victim who can never succeed. Only a total fool would believe or accept this idiocy. Yet they want to teach this foolishness to Louisiana's young people. Please call your legislator today and raise some sand.
Hello, Patriots. My name is Connie, and I am a fellow Louisianian. I started an online store in 2019 exclusively selling products which are made in the USA. My site is AmericanCentralStore.com. That's AmericanCentralStore.com. The reason for this ad is that I need products. I am trying to find drop shipping merchants with Louisiana-made products that can ship directly to the customer. If you are a Louisiana merchant who makes quality products, and if you can drop ship your products directly to the customer, I would love to hear from you. The only products I cannot carry right now are clothing items, but will carry those in the future. Please visit my site at AmericanCentralStore.com. Click the Contact Us link for the phone number and email address. Thank you, Patriots. Be American, buy American.
The Louisiana Music and Heritage Experience presents NOLA Funk Fest, October 20th through the 22nd at the New Orleans Jazz Museum. This festival includes 3 days of our local beloved music, food, art, and fun, plus a special Fats Domino and Dave Bartholomew exhibit. The festival will feature Irma Thomas, Leo Nocentelli, the Dirty Dozen Brass Band, George Porter Jr. and the Runnin' Partners, and so much more. For tickets and more information, go to nolafunkfest.com.
Hey, it's Christian. When it comes to buying appliances, buy where the builders buy, and that's at DTS Appliance Direct. Shop local. Don't go to the big box store when you need a new appliance. Call my friends at DTS Appliance Direct, 504-766-0738. DTS Appliance Direct has brands from GE, Cafe, Monogram, Blaze Grilled, C-Line, and many more. DTS Appliance Direct, 504-766-0738. 504-766-0738.
I just wanted to throw out one little thing about our sensitive president, Mr. Biden. I wonder if everybody heard he went to Maui, where there are tremendous fires going on, whether it was human started or weather related. And so far, at least 114 people have been confirmed dead. There may be as many as 500. So Mr. Biden went out there to comfort them. And what did Mr. Biden say? You can look this up, guys. I'm not making this up. He said, well, I understand what fires are like. We had a fire near my house one time, and I almost lost my Corvette, my cat, and my wife.
Unbelievable.
Okay. Maybe up to 500 people dead here. And he makes a joke about it. I just think that's really tacky.
He is that.
Yeah, not only that, the actual fire was confined to his kitchen and put out quickly. It did not involve any of the rest of the house.
So he wasn't being honest.
No.
What a surprise. Okay.
We were talking about the CDC saying that the new COVID lineage could cause infections in vaccinated individuals. Have you all heard that one yet, Dr. Little?
Not too much.
The CDC saying the
Yes.
new COVID can cause infections in the vaccinated.
Well, we've been hearing all along that the vaccinated individuals are more likely to catch COVID than people that are not vaccinated. Just the opposite of what they sold it to do.
Yeah, it is. That's right. They did sell it to us the other way around, didn't they?
Yes, right. So it was actually the opposite. By the way, they've all CDC has confirmed that ivermectin works, and so they haven't really made a big public deal about it, but it is confirmed to work, and it is effective prophylactically, and as little as one dose every 2 weeks can be very effective prophylactically. That's a minimal amount of medication, and it does work.
So how much do the drug companies make with that?
Not
a whole with
not
ivermectin?
No, not a whole lot.
No, it's not a money item.
But
so
it's
not being pushed.
before COVID, there were already billions of doses being used per year, and it was one of the most commonly used drugs and one of the most important drugs listed on WHO's list of important drugs. They listed it as a very useful drug.
But you couldn't get it during COVID. They
Right,
locked that
right.
down.
Yes.
The CVS's and the global pharmacies made sure you couldn't get it.
I was lucky to get it before the shutdown. It was 22 cents. I paid for a tablet or a book or whatever they call that, like a book of things, a book of ivermectin tablets. And I heard that humans were on this a long time, decades ago, on different things. And I heard it spiked right up after they prohibited it.
Yeah. The cost went up, huh? All right, we have a caller real quick. Shirley, are you there?
I'm here. How are y'all doing?
We're doing great. You have a topic you want to mention?
Oh, yeah. I was just skimming through my tinfoil hat news today, as I want to do, and I came across an article on Dailydot.com about an artist retreat that happened in Bledsoe, Kentucky last weekend, where it was like BLM type people, and the woman kind of referred to herself and the people that were in attendance that they held identities, which means that there were probably transsexuals there. There was probably, people of a certain orientation there. And I perused her TikTok video that she made about it. She was mocking and very rude about the beautiful place that they went to go stay. She mocked the pathways and the trails to go. It was a really rural, rustic area that they were staying in. Some people traveled 3 to 4 hours to come to this place. Well, she says that a bunch of white supremacists showed up to this event, and the police also showed up and said, well, we don't think that we can, protect you physically in case these people decide to do something to you. So the vast bulk majority, in fact, she later on says everybody up and left. She called everybody trash. And if you read the article, you have the common sense to read between the lines. These people, and I've lived in Appalachia for a long time, these people are God-fearing, very patriotic. And they probably showed up to this event where these people were doing all kinds of crazy art. There were even like gangster rappers rapping all their foul language in a chapel.
I think I read that. Yeah, they were inside of a chapel. So let's just say that the reason why the people in the community showed up is because they went in. BLM and the LGBTQB went into the chapel and they displayed some very, very disturbing art in God's house. And so that's what happened. And I know exactly what you're talking about. But if you read the articles on the fake news media, they call them white supremacists.
Right.
So anybody who stands up for the Lord, who stands up for morality or for what is right, and if your skin is white, you're a white supremacist. And I'm sick and tired of it, because that's not who they are. These are men and women of God who live moral lives in a quiet community, and they're not going to allow you to go into their home. You drove 3 hours into their community, and you brought your trash into their chapel. You need to get out, and you need to go back home where you came from, or you need to display your trash in your community.
Well, they already destroyed trash in the community, but what y'all were saying is that these people are coming to agitate in the community and get people annoyed. That's right. So,
Dr. Little.
Exactly.
They are.
Exactly. And we need to point out that it's their tactic, that they are the aggressors. They are the provocateurs. They're the ones who are actually provoking the situation. We need to document their provocativeness in that situation, that it is their provocation, not the residents who are provocative.
That's exactly right.
And I saw something a while ago about, these BLM agitators on social media saying, we're coming to your rural areas. People are already used to this in the cities. We're coming to your rural areas. And then you see the meme of, the hillbilly in all of his camo with his little shades on, and all those guns are in. Come on, we're ready. We've been ready.
Yeah, you know the song, Try That in a Small Town.
Try that in a small town.
That's right. That's right. They tried it in a small town, and guess what? They got kicked out.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Shirley. That was a great. Thank you so much for calling in and sharing that article with us. Appreciate you. The Lord bless you. Anything else?
God bless
We
you.
only have a few seconds or a few minutes left.
I heard something that's similar to that. There was this gentleman that paid for a billboard where he had a picture of a young man with a diploma and a young man with his pants under his butt. And he said something about, which one is better? And they accused him of being a white supremacist. Yeah, but he's black.
All right, well, we'll end on that note. This is Liberty or Lockdown. Don't forget to go meet Tim Kerner at 4101 Patriot Street in Marrero tonight from 6 to 9. He's running for Senate seat. All right, the Lord bless you. We'll see you next week.
From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York too.
Some people in the Louisiana legislature want to permit the teaching of critical race theory in our state.